Here to tell you more about how Scope 3 brand standards works in the real world is Eden Glodstein from the Scope 3 Solutions platform and Maggie from Butler Till, one of our agency partners, to talk about an early pilot we did.
Thank you so much, Brian. We're so excited to be here today. Hey, Maggie, it's so great to see you.
Hi, Eden. Thank you so much for having me.
Can you share more about what your team does at Butler Till?
So I'm the Director of Strategy and Partnerships, and we are a newly formed team focused on working with partners like Scope 3 to keep a pulse on the innovation in the industry, to help evolve our agency offering, to ultimately help drive more outcomes for our clients.
And we know Butler Till made a bold decision to be the first agency to test agentic decisioning with brand standards for a client. What drove you to embrace this approach, especially for a pharma client where brand safety is so critical?
The pharmaceutical space is very highly regulated for good reason, which may feel like an interesting client to test this on. But the opportunity for pharmaceutical clients is so immense. While there is no room for error from a brand safety standpoint, it allows us to take a more proactive stance and a more nuanced stance about how we approach brand safety for those clients that has immense benefits that I'm sure we will talk about in this conversation.
Yeah, expanding on those benefits, we saw that the brand standards pilot surpassed expectations with a 7% increase in brand suitability, which was awesome, and also significant decreases in language-related incidents. What was your reaction when you saw how the brand agent performed compared to expectations?
So before we go into these types of tests, we kind of form our own hypotheses and, hey, what are we looking to achieve from doing these types of tests? Being able to increase our brand suitability by 7% does a lot of things for our clients. It allows us to extend our reach to hit our very important patients and audiences. And then that ultimately helps drive more outcomes for our clients as well, right? So the more reach in brand safe areas allows us to drive better outcomes for our clients. And something that was also really valuable for us is the agentic aspect to the solution. Having an understood nuance about every piece of content that the model would analyze, again, allowed us to be incredibly nuanced about how our activations were run, and to really allow us, again, to stretch way more widely across the open internet and brand safe areas to allow us to have more effective reach.
Awesome. We were really happy to see the results. And we know that you're pioneering the use of brand agents for both safety and suitability. What excites you the most about leading this transformation? And what does it mean for Butler Till to be at the forefront of agentic advertising?
We are really big fans of innovation and everything that means for what we do as an agency and how we can advocate for our clients. This is a way for us to future-proof our clients, think differently about our approach to brand safety, and agentic decisioning is exactly the answer to help us do that. And it also helps us our comfortability with innovation, but how we're working to drive change in a space that has really been due for a reckoning for a long time. And Scope 3 has really been a super valuable partner in allowing us to bring forward this new way of how we think and action against brand safety for our clients.
And then speaking of change, what have you experienced with brand standards that you're going to use moving forward in client conversations, specifically when you're thinking about specific brands that you work with?
Yeah, this type of solution just really puts our whole approach towards brand safety on its head. There really is no longer a need to have a one-size-fits-all approach, which is exactly what we're looking to achieve and do on behalf of our clients. We wouldn't, copy and paste the same paid media plan across the board. That's not effective. That's not going to help drive the results we want for our clients. So this agentic modeling will allow us to be incredibly nuanced for each of our brands to help drive a 7% plus brand suitability scale to keep all of our standard front end metrics consistent, but again, be able to extend our reach and drive outcomes for our clients. So we are really excited with the initial results, and we're looking forward to continuing to expand our partnership and double down with this solution for our clients.
Thanks so much for sharing more with us about brand standards and the agentic strategy, Maggie. Back to you, Brian.
That was awesome. I really, really appreciate you sharing that with us. What I think we just heard is that even as a relatively new product, brand standards works. It works really well. It works significantly better than legacy products that have been around for 15 years. And we're just getting started. This is a revolutionary way to make brand safety, brand suitability work for you, and it puts the control in your hands. So if you don't have an agentic strategy and you just want a better brand safety and verification platform, give us a call.